The party is July 27th at the Delaware Contemporary, 200 South Madison Street, Wilmington, Delaware. This podcast has been brought to you by The Cause, helping each other evolve.
Welcome to the Cause Production Crew podcast. My name is Jacob, and today we have Mr. Scott Michels, the director of The Cause, on the podcast today. And today we're going to talk about The Party, specifically The Party 4. So how you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah. So let's dive into this. What is The Party? And could you also tell us a brief history of how it got started and its evolution to today?
Absolutely. Well, The Party, and actually this year is The Party 4, From Us to More, named from Milan Wood, one of our program participants, created the From Us to More. But The Party is an annual service event where we get about 30 or more organizations to bring on-the-spot service activities, community-type service. And then we also combine it with local music, food trucks, and some entertainment and fun and workshops. So basically, a person could go to the party and walk from table to table, learning about different things in the community while doing small acts of 3 to 5 minute community service, and also experiencing some of the local community through the music and arts, and connecting as one, all working towards making a better Delaware. And in fact, the party is connected to something called the Dogoodathon. And the Dogoodathon is a 2-month competition to just try to encourage as many people as possible to go out there and help their fellow citizens in a way of service without asking for compensation, just to help make the world a better place. So the Party 4 is on July 27th. It's at the Delaware Contemporary, and we've got about 30 nonprofits coming down, along with some musical acts and things like that. It's all ages, and if you're looking to learn about ways to help the community or just get some good karma points by doing some good service, it's the great place for you to come and join and be a part of the network.
So could you tell me a little bit about like the history of the party, starting from the Party 1, and how has the party improved and gotten better over the years?
Sure. Well, the first party, as I mentioned a minute ago, it was part of this thing called the Dogoodathon. And the Dogoodathon is more or less like a marathon, trying to get people to sign up and then sign up others. And we decided to have a closing event. And so in the first year, the goal of the Dogoodathon was to do acts of service, but we realized some people might not have a chance to do service. So we said, what if we have a closing event for the Dogoodathon in which we invited some of our friends in the nonprofit agency to set up a service project? That way, anyone who comes for the Dogoodathon could actually get some points on their, score sheet for doing service. Well, what ended up happening is in trying to describe both the Dogoodathon and the party to potential people or new partners, everyone instantly understood the mechanics of the party, which is a whole bunch of service projects, music, food, and fun, and everyone comes together and does as many service projects as possible. Last year, we did 1,084 acts of service within that 3-hour period with about 300 people. So when all of a sudden people were a little bit confused about what the Dogoodathon was, but they would say, but you know what? I understand the party. I'd like to come to the party, or can I bring this a service project to the party? So because, what they say, the people know what they want to a certain degree, they understood this one day of service thing called the party. So even though the Dogoodathon is still happening, what it ended up turning out is that the Dogoodathon is like a long-term publicity campaign for this event called the Party. Now, Party 1, we only had about 20 tables of service and a few music acts. We're now, I believe this year, we're going to be at 30, if not over 30 tables. We have bigger partners joining us, such as Impact Life, Network Connect, AIDS Delaware, some of the bigger players. We have a lot more entertainment happening these days. We were very service focused, but this year we're going to have some bouncy houses. There's also an entire event happening at the party called Expression Explosion, which is going to give youth a chance to do all sorts of mediums of art, including video production, hand drawing, t-shirt design, button design, and music recording. I might have said that, video recording. all based on one common subject. That's going to be at the party too. So something new this year is there's going to be a lot of both service, but also chances to have fun in positive ways. And this is year 4, and we are, we're looking at it about 10 years or so. The whole riverfront is going to be part of the party here in Wilmington, Delaware. And because of our contacts with Lions Clubs International, the real goal is to take this prototype of this service event that connects community and people and have it become a global event where in countries all around the world, people are celebrating the service party all on the same day.
You mentioned the Dogoodathon. Could you tell us a little bit more about that as well as how people can join?
Absolutely. So right now, listeners can go to www.dogoodathon.com. So it's DOGOODATHON.com. On there, you will be able to sign up. But really how it works is that you sign up and do an act of service. You can do whatever you want. When you sign up, there's a button that you click or a QR code that takes you to a form. You would just put in your name, I am Jacob, and then it would ask you, who recruited you to the party? This is where the game starts. So you could put in my name, Scott Michels, although I don't really play because I like to organize it. I don't want to cheat, But what happens is that when a new player registers through the form to do an act of service, we will then be notified who referred them to the game. And so you will get a point for every person who signs up on your behalf. So they could say, hey, I'm Scott Michels, and when it says who referred you to the party or to the game, I would put Jacob. And so then Jacob would get a point. And so the idea and the evolution of it actually is kind of interesting. The first year, we tried to say how many service acts could one person do. So it was like a contest, like Jacob did 30 acts, Milan did 50 acts, Milan wins, But we realized that more important than having one or two people do a lot of service is having everybody do a little bit of service. Multiple hands make easy work. So we flipped the model that it is not about how many acts of service you do, but how many people you recruit to do at least one act of service. You can play as an individual using your own name. You can also join friends and play as a team or as an organization. So I know that you're going to be doing a podcast with the Talk About It show with a woman named Becky who lost her son to alcohol. Well, she and her friends have created a team in her son's honor, and they're playing for that. So you can play as an individual or as a team. And then the other thing is that there's a prize randomly drawn from anyone who plays the game. So as long as you sign up and do one act of service, you're going to be in a drawing for a prize package at the party. But Jacob, the honesty, the real thing, hopefully that's coming across is it's not really about the prizes and that. It's about going out and intentionally inviting people to be a part of this society, to be civically engaged, to help us out, to get to connect with other people. And so using the Dogoodathon, it's a chance to start these conversations. Hey, I think we can do good. I think we can do more.
Yeah, it is so awesome that a movement like the Dogoodathon and the party exists to really facilitate service. I'm curious, do you have any statistics on the Dogoodathon, for example, like how many acts of service were done, etc.?
Well, so we do know that last year, we don't have as many acts of service. We can tell you how many people played the game. The first year, it was, I believe, around 178 players. The next year, it dipped down to around 140 or 150. And then last year, it went back up to I think we were close to breaking 200, if not breaking 200. This year, our goal is to get 250. That's of the players. Now, at the actual party itself, we had over 300 people at the party on that day. And each table registered how many acts of service happened. And throughout that 3-hour period, with 300 people, we did 1,084 acts of service.
Wow. That is incredible.
And that included stuff like making backpacks for kids who need it, health hygiene kits for victims of violence, writing letters to veterans who are lonely, also adopting puppies, a whole wide variety of ways to help the community.
That's excellent. I want to shift gears and go back to the party now. Let's say I'm a person who has no prior experience in service. I'm not part of any organization. I haven't done any acts of service, but I hear about the Party 4. and I'm interested, and I go there and I have a good time. Because the party is just a one-day event, how can I translate these skills and experience and service from the party 4 into the future of my life?
I'm so glad you asked that because, one of the real goals behind the party is to actually give an opportunity and access to service to people who might want to help out the community but don't really know where to start. I think there's a lot of people out there who would like to use their time and effort to help people, but they don't know what organizations to sign up for or how to even get involved in community service. So to that point, at the party, you might be, as you said, it might be someone new to service, but they're going to have a chance to have a variety of experiences with service. But each table is hosted by an organization who does year-round work. So let's say you go to one table and you really resonate with what's happening in that service project. Maybe they're talking about educating children 0 to 5 and the importance of that age group with education. And that's something that you feel really good about. You could then right there start a relationship with the local branch who is working on these issues. And a lot of times they will have a volunteer sheet that you could sign up for right there. And connect to them to become a volunteer or an advocate. And then we are going to start having a monthly sort of party follow-up next year in which we can have miniature versions of this sort of, entrance to service, if you will. But what I would say to answer your question, if you haven't done service, come on out. Get a little taste of a couple different varieties, meet other people who are in service, and then use that opportunity to make those connections so that you have people or organizations to work with throughout the year on an issue that you're passionate about.
That is so cool, and I'm so glad to hear that the party is offering so many diverse opportunities for service that people can use in the future. For the concluding question of this interview, I want to talk about your vision. Let's fast forward to the year 2030. The Party 10 is underway. What is your vision for the party, and how do you see it growing in the future?
Well, we're in Delaware here, and the party right now is at an art museum that's near an area called the Riverfront. And so our first goal is that we would like to get Delaware and the city of Wilmington specifically to join on board, in which we are in talks with the Parks and Recreation Department, to make the party a riverfront entire inclusive event. So what that would mean is that instead of being at one location where you go to do service, we would encourage all of the businesses and restaurants within the riverfront area to have some sort of service project at their place or out in the street in front of it. And we would have a much larger stage to have possibly even national performing acts be the ones who grace the presence to reward all of the serving acts. So that's it. The 10-year vision is that it's an event that people will travel across state lines to come and have fun making community here in Delaware. And then we have connections all the way to the top echelon of Lions Clubs International, which is the world's largest service organization, 1.4 million members, over 200 countries. And so they have already been asking us basically when this prototype of this service day and project and party is repeatable, a fidelity model that can be repeatable, we can then actually expand it so that there could be a day in the year where in 200 countries there are people wherever they are doing local service parties. And then, of course, the party is a model that we can have across multiple cities. Everything that we're doing at the cause are prototypes and models that we believe could be placed in a local social economy, and then that social group of people then can take these tools. And so, for example, the party in Philadelphia would be very different than even here in Delaware. That's only a half an hour because you got a whole different nonprofits, all different types of issues. So it would become a localized event wherever it is, this model. And I'm gonna shift gears for a moment just to a little bit of philosophy behind the party. Is that when I was a young kid, my father, Tom Michels, God bless him, he's no longer with us, he once said to me, Scott, if you're at a party and you see someone not having fun, go up and try to introduce yourself, and say, hey, I'm Scott, because he said, you might be that person at that party someday that doesn't feel connected. Well, I've realized, Jacob, that one of my core goals in life and part of the cause here is that we actually do envision life almost as if it is a party. It is filled with excitement and love and opportunity to grow and celebrate together. But in reality, Jacob, not everyone feels that it's a party. Some people might have even been structurally uninvited to the party. There's whole groups of people who feel disinvited to what I'm talking about. So what I've learned is that the party is sort of the full vision. And in order to get to the party, we're going to need equity and equality and to be able to work together and see each other and work across diverse groups of people. So in making sure every human being is invited to this beautiful thing called connection in life is really what the party is about. And right now, that's not the case. And so the metaphor is, yes, can we, by using this once a year physical manifestation of service, connection, dancing, and celebration, could we take that model and start to look at that as a way we can live on a daily basis, where literally the party becomes a year-long way of people reaching out to connect and help each other out. And so that's why we call it the party. It's sort of like, what can we get to in humanity if we all start, instead of closing each other off and being selfish with our needs or our desires, holding hands together, helping people in need so that when we're in need, they'll know how to help us. But when you know how connected we are in a world, you can't hurt someone without hurting yourself, but also you can't help someone without helping yourself. And so the party is a physical way, and we're hoping that as this grows 10 years, 20 years, I will do it as long as we can, that it eventually, the goal is that, again, the party becomes our daily way of living. Instead of just once a year, we have a glimpse of what we could be. We then take that glimpse and make it our reality.
That is such a beautiful philosophy, Scott, of your vision for the party. It's very ambitious, but it's a very compelling vision for how we can unite together and really hold hands and really tie us and our neighbors and our community and the community at large through the power of service. Thank you so much, Mr. Scott. That was Scott Michels, the director of the Cause production crew and the Cause. My name is Jacob.
And July 27th.
Make sure
at the Delaware Contemporary, www.dogoodparty.com or dogoodathon.com.
Mark the date, July 27th, the Party 4. We'll see you there. We'll see you next time.